Welcome, everybody, back to Vinyl to Viral. If you've been following our podcast, you know that we have brought our cool kid friends and fun professionals talking about their life experiences and lessons learned through generations. Today's podcast, we're doing something a little bit different, and we are talking about something that connects all generations. At some point in our lives, we find ourselves as caregivers, caring for loved ones, parents, family members, friends, or spouses. So with that said, I just want to start with my dad. So funny, when I was getting ready for this podcast this morning, I was feeling this heaviness around me and this like pit in my stomach. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about losing my dad. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about grief and everything that comes with it. But this morning, I kid you not, I was getting ready and I stumbled upon an article around Frida Kahlo. And it was pretty much saying how she transformed her accident and her pain and her disabilities. And she transformed it into her art. And without her transformation, we wouldn't have the artist of who we know today as Frida Kahlo. And I go, this is my sign that I have to do this episode. This is what my dad, sent me. Like, no, you got to go tell your story. You have to transform some of this grief and this, anger. So in a couple of years ago, my dad got diagnosed with cancer, and I left LA to go back home to help take care of my dad and my mom and my 3 siblings. And in a year and a half, I was dealing with a dad who had cancer, a grandfather who had a triple bypass, which is heart surgery, and a grandma who had a stroke, all within a year and a half. And my dad didn't make it, by the way. And at that age, I'm like in my early mid-20s, and you don't think of a caregiver as someone who's in their 20s prime, right? When we think of caregivers, we think of someone maybe who's older, parents who are, kids who are in their 40s and 50s taking care of 60, 70, 80-year-old, parents. That wasn't in my bingo card. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I knew it was just something that
you had to do.
I had to do, And I actually heard another podcast, I believe Seth Rogen and his wife, talking about their caregiving journey and the resources around it. And I was like, so there's more of us that are young caregivers, like in our 20s, in our early 30s, taking care of our family members. What resources are around to support that? Like usually in your 20s, you think you're in the middle of your career, right? Or your first career. You're not sort of taking this pause. And I really want to support and give voice to these young caregivers because I see your work. It's a thankless job most of the time. And you become superhuman when you start to take care of people. You figure it out. People talk about like entrepreneurs figuring it out, making it work. I feel like caregivers are the ones that really figure shit out, no matter what obstacles are away. If you got to get medicine, if you have to go get groceries. So I dedicate this, podcast to my dad and also to my grandparents. I'm fortunate that my grandparents are still alive. I pumped a lot of green juice into my grandpa. And today he's, taking his walks, around the neighborhood and spending time with, my grandma. So I'm really grateful. But that's where I wanted to start today, was saying thank you for allowing me to have this space to talk about my dad and also talking about this journey, because we need support taking care of family members. And there are things that we can set our families up so that it doesn't just fall on one person. I know that you were also a caregiver too. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that was like?
I mean, I call it my sabbatical. It's also something that I don't like to talk about. I don't deal with loss. I kind of, people that are closest to me know I kind of hate the summers because I had like consecutive, like I think about Jay-Z, summer after summer, he's got hits. And I'm like, yeah, summer after summer for me, I lost somebody else, right? I don't have grandparents. My parents are all gone. Right? I was kind of at a height of my career in terms of managing professional athletes and entertainers. I ended up going back to Chicago to take care of my pops who was, battling cancer. And I got the inkling from our conversations that like things was turning in a different way. And so I ended up taking some time going back to Chicago, still trying to manage my players and stuff. But all those players my, artists, I appreciate y'all for real for all coming to Chicago and knowing that I had to take that time to be with my pops. And that was a little bit over 2 years of my life of being there. I mean, even at a point of moving in, right? Where, yeah, I can just be in Chicago, have my own place, but then being there so many hours late into the day, doing different things like, making sure that they have the food. I never thought that I'd be changing diapers and, things that
Oh,
just things that end up happening. Some of them become comic relief. I was the youngest, so seeing seeing their father or watching them try to take their father to the bathroom and things not go, way that they thought it would go. Accidents galore. I found some comic relief in that. Always looked up to the Lord, asked why, all of those things that they tell you not to, especially being a preacher's kid. But it really was a difficult journey at that point in time. And then my mom, she was suffering at the same time. And so it just felt like a dark cloud, continuing to stay around me. But I will say I wasn't equipped, mentally. I think physically you just do. Right. And that was the thing for me in that thing, the same way I might do for my athletes or business or something. I just went into just doing.
Yeah.
Right. And that got me through it. But I know that also probably took some years from my life from me too. Right. Because you don't think about rest and wellness in the same way. You just jump in to do things that others might not, be willing to do, or others might not be around to do those things. So I don't really I'm not at the space yet, to really talk about those parts of my life, but I am in a space to elevate it and provide the things that I learned, right, from it. Because I would say one of the biggest pieces that I learned was like people get paid for this. Like there's government assistance,
Yeah.
right? Like you had county and federal programs where, you can get paid as a caregiver to help, assist. It's not a lot of money, but any little bit, right? Versus you having to go get the groceries, you having to make sure the lights and different types of utility bills are there. There, were some things that I ended up learning through the process of caring for so many different people, and these resources that were available that I wish if I had known back then, I think that would have also alleviated some of the stress, not just for myself, but also for my other family members, because sometimes when that pressure and that stress comes, people leave, right? They'll run far from it because they don't want to take it on. And you might have your own families, but I would say like for me, I think in this purpose, in this podcast, I appreciate you bringing it forward because there are a lot more younger and younger people. And we've seen through COVID changed our lives.
I mean, you're seeing people in their 40s pass away now, and that shouldn't be normal. There's no coincidence in the last, I think, 6 months, I have met one girl at the grocery store and another girl in New York at a film festival, and they had just kind of glossed it over because they were introducing themselves to me, and they said, well, I'm just taking a break right now because I'm taking care of my mom, I'm taking care of my grandma. And it stopped me in my tracks because I'm like, wait, how old are you? Talking about they left school, talking about they quit their jobs so that they could be fully, present. And I was like, oh no, there's a theme here. If this is an awakening also to take better care of ourselves, but also how we prepare for our families. You said something that really hit me around just having like hard conversations around this because no one likes to talk about, death. Here's my thing. The most drama that I've ever encountered was 1 during a wedding and 2 during a funeral. I don't know. We just got to stop. I feel like we always run into stuff at weddings and funerals. The drama just happens. But I'm like, what are ways that we can prepare our families for something like this? It's kind of the same, ideals around having a prenup. People are like, I don't want to start my marriage with a prenup, but you're actually protecting yourself. You're setting yourself up, not just what happens in divorce, but what if a spouse passes away? People don't know that's what you can use a prenup for. So if you're a caregiver or you know one, here are the 3 things that we want to share in regards to resources. The first one, state or federal programs. I didn't realize this until after I met with a social worker, but that you can get state disability by taking care of a family member. And What they don't tell you early on is that you have a small window from the time you quit your job or from the time that, you take leave till the time that you can make a claim.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss that window, you lose that pot of money. But that money you can supplement income. And that's not even just grocery money. You can also get grocery money. In California, it's CalFresh, food stamps, whatever they call it in your state.
EBT.
So the earlier you can talk to a social worker, if you know that you're going to be taking care of someone that's close to you in your family, someone who you love, get in contact with them because they may open up some new programs. Something else I learned was for veterans, because my grandfather was a veteran, they can send an in-home nurse for you once or twice a week, or they also provide meal prep and plan that they can send to your house. So check with your county office what other programs are available. If you're a veteran, there are also other benefits, disability benefits that you can get. Yes.
I mean, I even think about it. Like I jokingly talked about a sabbatical, but I think taking that type of approach of even like marketing and rebranding what this is, because again, sabbatical can be a couple weeks, it could be months, but people think about putting money to the side, right, for that moment. And so I think applying for those resources is definitely key. I think another thing, I mean, you've brought this more to my attention, is that end of life folder. Right? Like really knowing where the key documents are. Like, I think it starts with bills, right? Like again, you don't want to take over for your mama, then you find out she ain't paid this bill, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more, but I think the being, proactive instead of reactive is key, and having that kind of end of life folder or anything can happen folder in case stuff happen, right? Things about the Chris Rock joke, but in case something happens, whether it's the wills, it's the insurance, it's the important document, whether it's driver's license, social security, because again, if you're trying to get certain benefits, folks will ask you for the physical copy of a social security card. You're like, I ain't seen that in a while. Or a birth certificate. Shoot, where is it? And shoot, good luck trying to get one really quickly if you don't have that. So those kind of documents are key as well.
And the end of life folder can feel so morbid to people, but I saw a creator actually also create a end of life folder he sends to his wife once a year, and he sends it via email. And in the email at the end, he says, I hope you don't have to use it this year, but just in case, right? Just kind of making it a little bit sweet. And in the folder, of course, there's the will, there's assets, how to get your life insurance policy to be paid out. But there's also like family photos. And that was one of the hardest things for me to do, was getting just all the information and photos and things together. The fact that someone already thought about, use this because this is my best photo, right? Or I received this award, make sure that's in there. Or the list of folks you want there, you don't want. You know what I mean? I mean, that
Who's
stuff
on the
is
block list?
That stuff is real. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's stuff that goes into this end of life folder, and you just know it's for preparedness. And it also alleviates a lot of stress for whoever's taking care of your arrangements.
Less thing.
Absolutely.
On that list for them. No, that just reminds me. Now you bring a smile to my face, because my pop was fly as ever. He knew what suit he was going in that casket.
Oh, he picked his suit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was ready for that one. He wasn't gonna meet the Lord, looking bummy. He's like, I got this.
Sunday best.
And then the other, I would think I talked about this earlier, but don't ask, just do, right? For those folks who are supporting people who are going through this, like you might be the best friend, it might be the cousin, might be a family friend, a college friend. If you have someone in your circle who is helping or having to be this type of caregiver, just do. Typically we'll ask, what do you need? Man, don't even ask that question. Just provide. Get that DoorDash for them. Maybe find somebody that can help with the laundry. Or get some meals over there.
Send a cleaner.
A cleaner for the house. Like, somebody can do them dishes. Those types of things. Picking up if you know somebody might have kids or something like that. Like, just being able to be there and just do it versus having to ask. Because I would say, like, when I was going through it, I couldn't even think clearly. Like, I can think about the things that I really had to think about. Pops need to go to the bathroom. Like, certain things. I wasn't thinking about, if I had to pick something else up or go drop something off in the mail.
So immediately, right? You're like, something has to get done. You just drop and you just go. Yeah. So that's great. Picking up even medications, I think, is a good one. Or taking care of like a stack of bills. If you have it, if you see a mail piled up, that's probably medical bills in the front, in the foyer on the kitchen table. So definitely drop off food. Another one that my dad actually had to do was someone gifted us Airbnb gift certificate because we had to go from where we lived to Stanford. And we, had to find a place to stay. We couldn't just always stay with family members or whatever. So someone booked us a hotel or booked us Airbnb. So those are easy ways you can just do instead of asking, I can be there. And I love that you talk about, the doing part, because that was such a huge part of my experience. I'm so grateful for my friends that showed up to my house and took me out for lunch, that sent me cash for whatever expenses I need, and the folks that didn't just come to the house and just kind of sulk around. I also saw a little bit of that, and that was like more pressure, people just hanging around the house just cause. So the doers, we appreciate you, and you're a huge help.
And I want to add one more thing for the folks who got extended families or multi-generational living. We all start to live together. Like you might see kids still living at home. Just because somebody might be living in the same place as mama or auntie and them doesn't make them the caregiver. Don't just automatically just think like, well, you staying here. Like it could be, a brother or cousin who's not living in that place, and they're just assuming because you're living with mom, you're living with dad, that you are going to be that caregiver or you should be it. Like, no, we need your help. Just because that person is there, they might be doing some other things. Don't rob people or don't put extra stuff on someone. Everyone is not a caregiver too. So I want to make sure, like my sister's a nurse and all of that. I wasn't a nurse. I am a caregiver, but not everyone has those skills. And so again, if I'm talking to my cousin and them, I know some folks, y'all are living together, or you see your cousin living with mama or auntie and all of that. That person that's living there is not obligated to be that caregiver, right? They are not. You know your brother. You know that he is not about to change no diaper, right? He might get an attitude for having to do that. So just don't put those on people as well. That's one thing that I really wanted to get across in this conversation too.
Yeah, thank you for that. Parents, a note to parents: your kids are not your retirement plan.
Say it.
And that's my bar.
Say it.
But you cultivate and you build community. So that's why so these are the three things. We're going to recap this. If you are a caregiver or you know someone who is, number one, figure out what your state and county programs are that can support and supplement income. Number two, create that end of life folder. Do it with family. Put photos together. Put all your living documents that need to be in one place. And the last one, don't ask, just do.
Just do it. Nike.
Thanks for helping me run through this podcast and holding space. I hope that this helps other caregivers and other family members in taking care of your loved ones. So thanks.
Thank y'all.